Timothy, I don't know about you, mate, but it is that time of year, and I've been setting up all of my Christmas lights and trees and everything out the front, and I stood back the other day. Once I got it all done and the missus was happy, and I thought, geez, you can really see all the lights, and like we got a big snowman, and he really stands out well. It's because I trimmed the bushes back, right? So they really stand out. And that's why here at Any Given Sunday, I'm really proud to say that we're supported by Australia's fastest growing grooming brand, Nut Care. Proudly Australian, Nut Care is taking down a grooming to the modern day man. Recently voted number one with the bear nuts. You've got the bear nuts, I believe. I've got the wood. Danny's got the underwear, which is
wood. You've been excited, boy.
And it's revolutionising male grooming. As proud sponsors of us, use the code Any Given Sunday at the checkout. You get 10% off your first order using, like I said, the code Any Given Sunday, as it is with all of our sponsors. Nut Care is essential grooming for us fellas, mate.
Love it.
Nah, doesn't want to work. All right, we've had some technical difficulties, and I don't want to persist with it because it's an absolute killing me. We're going to get straight into it. It feels weird, but yes. Hello and welcome to the Any Given Sunday Australia podcast.
Yeah.
The number one podcast in at least 3 households. One of them doesn't have internet that's working very well for some reason, so technical difficulties. One studio, Gridiron Australian head office, the NFL head office, over in Boise State. If you've heard our last interview with James Ferguson Reynolds, it was an absolute cracker. I'll make sure you listen out for that one. He's a good young fella from down your way. He's actually started up my way and finished off down your way, mate. So,
I saw Banno. Yeah, Bannockburn. That's just not too far.
Yeah, he is a legend and a real good chat. So joining us, as always, down in his basement at Tim Cardi Agius AUTC24. How are you, mate?
Very good, brother. We're on a little bit later than normal, but good to see. We've already had a few legends jump into the chat. So shout out to Millsy and Meeks jumping in there early. Love to see it.
Straight on to it.
Yeah.
It is the silly season, mate. So we did miss our last episode, but we did figure it was going to be a bit tough. You had a nice little trip away with the fam.
Yeah, down to Tassie.
Christmas parties. And
good luck getting any sort of regular schedule fucking programming, recording going on this time of year. It's absolute chaos.
Yeah, and I don't like our odds. The fact that Christmas is on Monday, I'm not liking our odds of getting one in before then. But we'll see. We'll see how the cards fold and we'll go from there. But to you and to all of the fam, I do want to say a very Merry Christmas and we'll see Happy New Year before then. But very Merry Christmas to you and everyone else, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Couldn't echo that sentiment anymore. Or, whatever holiday you celebrate. I know we're pretty big around the world. Just looking at the map, there's all sorts of different holidays. So, Merry
holidays, happy holidays.
Yeah, there we go.
Happy holidays, nice.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not sure.
And we're all inclusive. We're all inclusive.
We are. What do they celebrate in Denmark, where Danny Boy is currently?
I'm going to say Christmas.
I would guess that he said he's getting around to everyone for one last final Christmas before he's home in his back hours in the dungeon that is his place.
Yeah, that's right.
I do have a couple of things. I can see you typing away, so I'll just keep chatting. Make sure you hit up our link tree because, most importantly, our merch store. You can see yours hanging up. I've gone a bit of the old school tonight, but we've got stuff added there.
That first generation?
That is Generation 1. Back when I thought it was all about me and I made it TMac Studios.
You did. You sure did. And why not?
Yeah.
You're the boss.
But the biggest thing that has just come to my attention is our DAZN Game Pass. Our code is up. Make sure you check it out because for this week only, you can try it out for 99 cents.
What?
99 cents, and you get everything. It's only lasts for a week, but it's for 99 cents. You're silly not to try it out and see what you're missing leading into, because there is games this week that are only on Game Pass.
And it's smart marketing because they'll get their hooks in and you won't be able to turn back.
Nah. And I wasn't 100% sold on the in-season Hard Knocks, but I was watching some today and Mike McDaniels is an absolute champ. And one thing I did learn, I know I'm dragging on a bit here, but did you know that the Dolphins, they own 96 acres. It's about 50 k's north of their practice facility. They own 96 acres of a sod farm, so they create their own grass and ship it in instead of getting it from another company.
To like resurface their like training facility and then their stadium and everything.
Yeah.
How cool is that? Well, and it makes sense. Like their owners and everything, like the franchises, they're all rich enough. Like, why wouldn't you invest in like stuff like that matters? Like that's genius. I like it.
It's just something I never.
You don't think to that level, but that's awesome.
No. And it's funny, you think back to Arizona, the Super Bowl, how much drama there was about the.
That's right. Like, that's where it stands out the most. So
yeah, and so these guys are like, nah. So I don't know how recent it is, but they've got it, so they can surface 20 surfaces to at any one time, but they've got enough sod and lost soil for 20 surfaces, which is. I love it.
Obviously, they stagger it and use it throughout the year or whatever as need. But like, why not drive home that home field advantage as much as you can in any way that you can? And that's like a good way of doing it. And that they've probably got, like you said, it's out of Miami a bit, so it's probably cheap land out somewhere where they can grow the grass pretty easily. So that's bloody genius. Love it.
And these are the kind of things you can see with your 99-cent Game Pass for this week only.
Hey.
All right, I would be normally playing our Dr. Danny. Little music, and I am sad to say that I did have one lined up for you, mate, but it doesn't seem like it's going to be working. So
no, you don't.
I don't, but it sounded good. It will be ready. But no, Dr. Danny's report, we've had him on the phone. He said we're all clear to talk about it. It is brought to us. This does work. Brought to us by our good friends at C2C Rare Threads. 10% off when you use our code online. They have some awesome stuff, and they've got a Boxing Day week sale. There you go. Didn't ever know. You can see some of the stuff on the screen. Unfortunately for you,
checking the website, they got basketball, NFL, college sports. Like they're absolutely stacked with all sorts of cool gear. So, and it's always constantly turning over. Like they're always constantly getting new products. So it's important to make sure you keep visiting the website. You'll find something that you like, even just a cool obscure college that you've never even heard of. Like they got so much cool stuff. So just keep going and checking their website and get around them because they're really good supporters of ours as well.
They sure are. Biggest injury news to come out this week that Aaron Rodgers is off the practice or off the IR. He's actually on the practice squad, but they said they won't play him just yet.
Yeah, and I think it would have got a few tongues, tails, wagging, all sorts of things, saying that he's been elevated or whatever, and he's on the roster, but it's just so he can keep practicing. So I dove into it a little bit and had a bit of a read, and he said himself, Aaron Rodgers has clarified he's not going to play this year. Like the Jets are
They've ruled him out?
Sorry?
So they've officially ruled him out for the year.
Yeah, he's not going to play this year. The Jets aren't in contention. He's not going to play. It was only going to be if he got to a point where he was feeling 100%, and that might be 3 more weeks' time, but the Jets would still have to be alive at that point for him to play actual meaningful football. So he was still toying with the idea while the Jets were still alive. They're out now. They're just elevating him to the roster so that he can continue to practice with the team. If they didn't do that, I'm pretty sure whatever the rules are that he couldn't participate
he wouldn't be allowed to be
in official practice. So he's in his interview regular segment that he does every Tuesday. He said that it's the what are they called? It's the squadron or something like. It's like kind of aeronautically, like the name of it's related. It's like the second and third team reps that he's getting. It's like a bit of 7-on-7 stuff that he's been doing with the guys there at training. So this will just enable him to keep participating in training with the team, which I think it's good for the team moving forward. It's good for Rodgers moving forward for his rehab to keep continuing at the pace that it is. But just awesome for the rest of the team to have him around and still involved in everything that they're doing to finish out the year. Like there's still a few games left, finish out the year strong as they can, and then move forward and look into next year.
Well, it's pretty much preseason starting now, isn't it, for next season that he can start to get the likes.
He was pretty careful not to say that. You know, they do still have to finish the year strongly and you know, his mindset is obviously on next year, but it's about being a professional, finishing out the year properly, it's hard to say doing it justice, but, you know, like doing it properly, being a professional, finishing out the year strong, and then then you shift your focus in the off season to next year. But essentially, it's preseason.
Yeah, it is. It's just a longer preseason. He's just getting the connections. It's just more time to Garrett Wilson and
100% get more comfortable with each other. You're exactly right. Create better connections with his targets. Get everyone on the same page on that offense, all that sorts of things, and get everyone on his page because he's going to be a massive part of that driving force next year.
Yeah. The other big news that came up, and it really tickled my fancy and as to why it's all happened, but the NFL has upheld Steelers safety DeMonte Casey. I'm going to go with.
Yeah, I'll do.
Yep. He had a regular season suspension for the rest of the season. And they've upheld it this week. He was suspended without pay for the final 3 games after a hard hit on Michael Pittman Jr. that landed him in the concussion protocol. He was flagged and ejected from the game. And
have you seen the footage?
I have, yeah. It didn't look great.
It folds him in half, like it's bad.
Yeah, it is bad. It is. And it's not. He's been fined 5 times already for unnecessary roughness this year.
I think that was a big factor in getting the rest of the regular season suspension and being upheld. So he went to appeal and it got heard by, or is it the hearings officer or whatever their title is, and got upheld. So the rest of the 3 games for the rest of the year, if the Steelers make the playoffs, he's cleared to play in the playoffs. But it was just his bad record. So he's got 5 fines already throughout the year. And then that hit itself on its own, that was a bad one. Yeah. Mike Tomlin came out and defended him, said he's not a dirty player, he's not a bad guy, but it's pretty clear in the NFL that the onus is on the defender, that you have to go low. Unfortunately, this one, they were kind of both going low, so it was
they kind of dived into each other, didn't they?
But the onus is still on the defender, and everyone knows now, like it's pretty clear that protecting the head is such a priority and that sort of thing, and it is on the defender. You have to sort of go low, but then obviously not, below the knees is kind of dangerous too. But I suppose this would be his 6th offence for the year.
He's already up over $200,000 worth of fines.
Yeah, it stacks up. So it's hard. And they're also losing their other safety. Is it Michael Fitzpatrick? I think he's out with a knee injury. So bit short at the safety position there. So could probably cause a bit of trouble for him this week potentially.
It might be something we're going to talk about in a minute. So Tom Brady, who's come out recently and had a few big things about, quarterback play and stuff like that, he actually come out and said he put it on, it's Gardner Minshew, he put it on him saying that you don't throw the ball there for your player to get absolutely slaughtered like that. So he's actually turned around and said, I don't think we should be banning the defensive players in this situation.
Yeah, I remember Brady said it was like, you don't throw it in the middle or whatever, if like you see that your guy's going to get essentially folded in half. like what happened. I suppose like to a degree, it's on like there's a bit of the responsibilities on the quarterback, but at the end of the day, it all falls back to the defensive player and the one that's making that hit, unfortunately.
Yeah. So like you said, it's not the end of his season if they do make it into the postseason. So for him, we hope they do, but we don't want to see those kind of hits.
Oh, it was especially in like super slow mo. It was kind of hard to watch, but
yeah. And we hope Pittman is okay.
I think he's due to play this week. I just saw in the comments, Millsy said he's right to play this week. So
Millsy's all over it. He knows
through the protocol. So Millsy's all over it.
All right, let's get into some of the games from last week. Is there any games that stood out to you? We're going to go for a little bit of a different, review. Especially heading into we say it every week. Football means more. This week, looks like it means more again.
What did we say? We're going to shift the focus a little bit. So
So, is there any games that stood out that to you, with teams that are heading towards that playoff or in the playoff bubble?
Well, I mean, Thursday night was was pretty big.
And technically, in the playoff bubble, is it?
Technically, the boys are still in the bubble. Technically,
yeah, we can bring that up. 63-21, and we actually said, I know I said it, but you did agree that we thought, well, we think the overs will be hit. It was hit before halftime by the Raiders.
You were bullish on it too, and they did it before halftime. So just pretty incredible. And also, I suppose we didn't touch on in our news, but the coach, the firing of
Oh,
Brandon
yes.
Staley.
Brandon Staley is gone.
We did say he was in the hottest seat, and then my boys come out and do that, and yeah, unfortunately, that's the end of Staley. So, yeah, we'll kind of bit of finger on the pulse kind of thing there for a little bit. So, what are we looking at? Games that are sort of affecting teams on the bubble. That's where we're at?
I think
right
the
now?
ones on the bubble, especially. So I'll go first. I'm going to say that the Colts getting the win over that 7-7 Steelers, a big for them. I know it was at Lucas Oil.
It was in India. Yeah, it was at Lucas Oil.
Yeah, big win for them. But just it really puts them in contention now to take that probably maybe 5th, but definitely 6th or 7th spot.
Yeah, well, they're hanging on. They're in 7th spot in the AFC at the moment, but big wins like that against, big rival in Pittsburgh, not divisional rival, but just a massive rival in the Steelers there. Huge. So keeping them alive, it's bloody tight in the AFC South. Like they could still take out the division, depending how results go the other way, how results go around them.
Well, they're equal first, but
yes.
Down on the division, 4-1 for Jacksonville, 3-2 for Indianapolis. So, like you said, they've definitely got a chance to take that top seed. So they could be in the top 4.
Yeah,
they've got Falcons.
The top 4. So
they got Falcons, Raiders, Texans to finish.
I suppose another one worth looking at, and kind of surprising because of what happened to them, but the Bagels.
Yeah.
Obviously,
Browning's huge.
Yeah, Browning. What is it? How many starts is that now for him? 3.
Yeah,
3 starts. So overtime win against the Vikings. They're actually holding 6th spot in the AFC at the moment, but they're 3rd in the AFC North, which is wild. So because the Browns and Ravens are obviously up in contention as well. So we kind of thought when Joey Burrow went down with that kind of weird wrist injury, we're like, oh, geez, Bagels are dead. And Browning's come out and done a good enough job, but they still have all the other pieces in place. So obviously Joey Burrow's a superstar. You want him out there, but you get a quarterback that can I don't want to say game manager, but a quarterback that can fit in and play in that offense. Like they're still super solid on defense. They got absolute weapons on offense, and they're proving that they're still a force to be reckoned with. The Bagels.
All right, so 8-6. They've got Steelers, Chiefs, and then Browns to finish.
So tough run, obviously. All AFC teams. Steelers, you probably think they'll get over, but then.
Chiefs and Browns.
Chiefs, Browns. Yeah, it's going to be tough because those two teams are still, in danger of getting, because we've got the Bills and the Texans kind of nipping at the heels at 8 and 9. So Chiefs and the Browns kind of pretty wary of not dropping too many games themselves. So they'll be pretty firing up these last few games themselves. So it's going to be a super interesting last few weeks, particularly in that AFC.
So we should mention Baltimore has clinched, as well as San Fran and Dallas and Philly. They've all clinched.
Yes, correct.
We'll keep that updated week by week. On the NFC side, my Packers, I think, getting beaten by Tampa Bay, who now sit atop of the NFC South.
Top of the NFC South, yeah, wow.
Huge loss for us. I knew that losing to the Giants was enormous because then we kind of had to run the table to be assured. But I was very confident. Like I made it my lock. I was very confident heading into Tampa Bay. But Baker Mayfield, he played pretty well against us when he was at Cleveland in Lambeau, and he's now the first ever quarterback to come into Lambeau and get a perfect passer rating of 158.
I think the only other quarterback is Aaron Rodgers has had a perfect passer rating there.
Correct. You would be spot on. Actually, Brett Favre never got one. I'm sure he would have got one there.
I heard it was only A-Rod.
All right. I'm going with you, mate. Your finger on the pulse. But, yeah, huge loss for us. I do know that if we go 3-0, we're a big chance of making it. 2 and Zip, we're only about 40%. I know the percentages don't really mean much. If we go 3-0, we're like 86% chance of making it. But
making it, yeah.
Yeah, but we've got, I think, Detroit to finish, Minnesota next week, and Houston or someone this week. Or
Carolina. 2 divisional games, and then Houston, who is going to be playing for their lives as well.
Yeah, I think it's Carolina this week, which we think we should get that one.
Oh, you got Carolina. Oh, okay.
Not Houston, but then the last 2 are huge divisional games. So
yeah,
I don't like that we've put ourselves in this position, but we did.
Well, you've got no one to blame but yourselves, I guess.
Yeah. And lastly, just to, before we move on, I think the AFC.
NFC I want to touch another team quickly before you go.
Okay. Well, I think the NFC South as a division is ridiculous. So we've got Tampa Bay 7-7, New Orleans 7-7, Atlanta 6-8, all still primed and a big chance.
Well, and I suppose because they're all within, they can all win the division, so that's how they can all kind of make it, I guess. Is that what you get?
That's what I'm saying. Like any one of those 3,
which is wild, and you'd think they'd be taken care of first week of the playoffs, but yeah, you look at some of the other powerhouse divisions, and then you look at the NFC South, it's okay.
Or who do you see? Tampa Bay, New Orleans, or Atlanta? Who would you think?
Oh, just on current form, probably the Bucks.
Yeah, agreed.
With how Baker's firing, and momentum's huge, especially this time of year. But speaking of momentum, I just wanted to quickly touch on the Bills, who another team who we kind of not written off, but had a lot of questions about, and then to come out and smack around the Cowboys, who were the form team of the comp on the weekend, and beat them pretty convincingly.
And it was 31-10. It was 31-3, and they just kind of really sat off and let them get that last touchdown as well.
Yeah, and the Bills' defense was just so dominant throughout the day. So the Bills are getting up steam at the right time of year. Good feeling in the locker room. You're not hearing the stuff about Diggs, the issues that he's been having as much anymore. They're kind of rallying around the coach with the controversy of the comments from a few years ago, Big McDermott. So yeah, things are kind of looking pretty good for the Bills at the moment. You wouldn't want to be catching the Bills these next 3 weeks or early in the playoffs if they make it, which is looking like they probably will.
Yeah, definitely team on a roll at the moment and starting to get that belief. And Josh Allen's starting to get that belief. I think he only had, it was just over 100, maybe 150 passing yards. It was absolutely terrible weather. But James Cook had an absolute day. Did you hear the interview at the end where they said, what was it that let James Cook? They really got around him and they just bullied them in the actual run game. And
that's do you think with the change of offensive coordinator in Joe Brady coming in, bringing in the likes of and getting James Cook and those guys sort of shining in that offense, that's been a bit of the catalyst for the change, probably.
Yeah, well, since he's come in, it has been, it might not have been perfect, but they've definitely been on the way up and using their players where they should be.
Yeah, and they just looked a bit more solid's not the right word, but everyone always says about consistent. Exactly right. Because Josh Allen football, it's here or it's here sometimes. So they're just been a bit more, steady as she goes.
And on the other side of that, how worried are you? They lost but clinched, but the Cowboys, how worried are you about that loss?
Look, not overly. Bills are still a very good side. Cowboys that probably look to bounce back pretty hard this week. I'm just looking to see who they've got this week. No, not overly worried. It was a pretty convincing win, but they got Miami this week. So in Miami, so this will be a great test. This will be a great test. A few good games this week, actually. Yeah. But no, not worried too much for the Cowboys just yet.
No, fair enough. Any other games standing out to you, mate, or we go on to the questions without notice?
I think we've covered pretty much all the ones we wanted to.
Ravens had a good win just to really solidify themselves.
Just under the radar, Ravens, yeah.
Yeah, just really solidifying themselves at the top, I think.
Just a clinch, yeah.
All right, my question without notice, as you heard on the media that I just played because it doesn't work. I've got 3 teams that are on the playoff bubble. I just want to, we'll say it doesn't really matter if they make it. The fact that they're 3 weeks to go, they're in contention. That's what I just want your head at, right? I just want to know from your thoughts, is it a pass or fail the season so far? Like, should they have been better, or were we not expecting them at this point?
Where they're currently at, not if they're going to make it or not?
Well, it doesn't. I don't think it's here or there whether they make it, these 3. The fact that they're 3 weeks to go and they're in contention.
Okay.
All right. So the first one is my team, the Packers.
Pass.
It is a pass. Happy with our season.
Pass. It was the NFC North.
Yeah.
It was the Lions and the Vikings division, all the talk of the preseason. Didn't know if Jordan Love was your guy, all that sort of stuff. So the fact that you're still in contention, I'll give you a pass. Excuse me.
Pittsburgh.
Oh,
7-7.
They're still 500, so they're still not a losing season.
20 in a row, if this gets.
But how they're going to, it's hard. We're just judging it on at the moment, aren't we?
Well, the fact that they're even in this spot. Did you think they would be? Like, that's got to come into it, I think.
That's fair. I don't because we still didn't know.
Kenny Pickett was a bit of an unknown still.
We didn't know much about if Kenny Pickett was the guy or not, did we?
He hasn't been really.
Sorry,
he hasn't really been.
He hasn't really been. It's probably
they've gone by TJ Watt.
And just I suppose if you asked a Steelers fan, they'd immediately say it's a fail. They've got pretty high expectations, but I'll probably lean towards it's a fail at this point. Feels weird saying that.
They do have a very strong division as well, though.
They do, which is hard.
Yeah. No, fail. We expected a bit more out of them. Last one is the Rams.
Okay. Probably a pass, I'm going to say. I just didn't think much of them this year, to be honest. So, yeah, pass.
100%. I didn't think they'd be in this position. I thought they were going to be walked over most weeks.
Yeah. And, you look at how they bounced back after the Super Bowl and were pretty terrible. I'm giving them a pass. Yeah,
and the fact that even if they don't make it, unearthing the guy is it Puka Nakua, I think is really huge for them going forward.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, nice. We might have that kind of question again next week, maybe 3 different teams. All right, on to our favourite subject of the year.
I can't wait for this stinger.
We didn't, it's got our little we didn't get on, but we did send them all through pre. I will say that.
Yes, it was all pre, and that'll become evident in a second. So, again, following a trend that these two have just been doing without, I'm assuming they're not talking, but Danny and Charlie both picking the same team. So they both took the 49ers for their lock of the round 15 or week 15 lock of the week. So they got a tick there. I took the Chiefs, pretty safe. Got the tick, and then as you said,
you're a little bit out there sometimes.
And then as you said, you took the Packers. You were pretty confident, but Baker and the Bucks had different ideas, and you did not get the tick there. So
brings me back.
Yes. So Danny's got off his donut. He's up to 7.
Yeah.
You and Charlie are sitting on 8, and I've pulled out in front onto 9.
I'm going safe every day of the week
now. And so getting pretty tight. What have we got? 3 weeks left for the lock of the week. I did want to quickly mention our tipping comp. From the weekend, I had a bit of a nightmare. So with the Saturday games, I stuffed up and I missed a few games, so I had a bit of a nightmare. But Tyler Lovell, one of my good mates, he's had a big week. He tipped 13. He's taken top spot, so there's been a change at the top. So Slatters has been at the top for quite a while, so he's been knocked off there. I don't know what Wiz is talking about. He's just happy he's tipped 13. But so it's pretty tight with a few rounds to go. I've dropped off, which hurts, but I'm still beating you. So we'll take that. And then also quickly wanted to touch on our fantasy leagues. We're obviously into playoffs in the fantasies, and I absolutely wiped the floor with you this week in League One. So I just had to mention that quickly too.
That's more than fair. I've had a bit of a mare in a lot of my ones. So I don't think I made finals in any of mine. So
no, I didn't either. Oh, so in an NFL fantasy, I have, not on sleeper.
Oh, nice. Yeah, even in others, I didn't. I played Wade Kelly. I've got this week. It is in our best of the best. With all the pro kick boys and everything like that. We're playing for last. Me and him.
I love it. The toilet prize.
So we will get Wade on the next couple of weeks. He wants to come on and announce a few things, and he sent me through that today and said it's Clash of the Titans. So good fun. Good fun. All right.
Clash of the Minnows.
Let's get some early picks out of the games. We do have an absolute slate Friday game, but then we've got a couple on Sunday as well, which we did not mention last week. We had a few, the Saturday games, Sunday for us. And then, lucky for us, Christmas Day is an absolute...
Christmas Day is stacked.
Absolutely stacked. And then we get three games on Boxing Day as well, which includes your Chiefs. Raiders.
Monday night games as well. So it's a big week 16. There's a few good ones there, but obviously looking to the Thursday night, Friday morning game. We've got the Saints going to LA, taking on the Rams in SoFi. Rams, pretty heavy favourites there.
Yeah, which not sure.
Well, head to head, like money line, big favourites.
Yeah, is Carr still out? He's been in and out, hasn't he? Oh no, he's not on the injury list. Yeah, and they're pretty good for the Rams as well. So not really many outs.
Yeah, 4-point favourites, the Rams, at home.
And 60% of the cash is going towards them as well. So we've just said that they've been pleasantly surprising us.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams. The Rams.
I think the Rams as well getting over the Saints. They've been... So the Saints have won a couple in a row, Carolina and the Giants, where the Rams have won 4 of the last 5 and only lost to Baltimore in overtime. So they've been a little bit of a tear.
That's sneaky good.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't give them enough credit.
They beat Seattle, Cleveland in that run too. So, yeah.
Decent.
Matthew Stafford's still in there throwing. He's thrown 21 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Fair enough. All right, we won't go into too many depths of the other games, but is there any of the other games that are really standing out on you, mate? Standing out for you?
Well, obviously, we already touched on that. Dallas, Miami game will be pretty huge. What else are we looking at?
Raiders, Chiefs.
Well, the Lions, Vikings, just big for the division. What did you say? The
Raiders, Chiefs.
Yeah, Raiders, Chiefs, big division
I think
game.
You match up well against them, mate.
We do, because obviously your divisional opponents pretty well, but you would expect the Chiefs to get it done there. But again, probably it could be a little bit of a danger game. Ravens, 49ers.
I was about to say the last game of the week is absolutely awesome. Game of the week.
Browns, Texans, there's Jags, Bucks, across the board there is good games and with a lot of playoff implications as well across the board. So strap in.
Yeah, hopefully we do get a little bit of an episode in. We can talk about a few of these games, but if not, it'll be an absolute pleasure to review them.
Yeah, can't wait.
Yeah. So, all right, mate. It is that silly season, so make sure you go home, or you are home. Go upstairs out of your dungeon and get yourself some sleep for the next few days. Like we said, if we don't get on, Merry Christmas to you and the fam. I know the Sarge has been working pretty hard, but she deserves to put her feet up a little bit. We hope Danny's back. He gets back New Year's Day or something like that. So he'll be back on board very, very soon.
Yeah, and just quickly, a couple of questions from the comments, but we will do a bit of an ep on the sort of MVP and awards and stuff coming up. Megs is desperate for us to talk about the Seahawks, which we actually did mean to talk about the Hawks. Obviously, getting over the Eagles. Sorry, Danny boy, he was very flat about that, but huge win by the Seahawks and Drew Lock, and that awesome post game interview that he did. That was pretty cool, pretty special, I thought. But DK Metcalf, that last drive, absolute beast.
Yeah,
absolute beast.
Yeah, and it's just keeping them in.
Where they double covered him. was just incredible.
Again, just keeping them in the hunt.
He's just like, I'm bigger and better than you. I'm catching this.
Huge.
Yeah.
Congrats, Megs.
Also, it was an exciting game to watch. It was actually good fun.
Yeah, I had it on. I had a Christmas party. I had it on in the background, and I had a Seahawks fan with me, and he kept, "Oh, we're in touch. Oh, no, mate, you're in touch, but you're not getting it."
You just kind of expected the Eagles and Jalen to come out, and the Seahawks defense like stood up, and just got it done, man.
Yeah, I did see a funny meme that Carolina have more wins in December than the Philly.
Oh, ouch. So this might be the start. Well, this could be the 3-game stretch like the 49ers had.
Yeah,
that's it. Kind of flawless since then. The Eagles have had it now and just boom, 3 weeks into playoffs, and then they're just an absolute
all around. They also did clinch.
Not doom and gloom yet, Danny boy.
Yeah, 2 teams that lost and clinched, which is ridiculous. But
I love it.
Anyway,
maths, mate. That's how it works.
That's it. Mic drop out of here. Well done, mate. Have a great Christmas. We'll see you before the New Year's, so we won't wish you a Happy New Year's.
Yeah, and have a great Christmas and everything to all the fam out there. Thanks for jumping on. We'll speak to you soon.